Hi guys, what I'm doing right now is covering my Corporate Aliance Droid Tank with another thin layer of pledge future. This is required due to the fact that what I am going to do next is applying various washes, and when working with washes you want to gain the surface of your model as glossy as possible. First, because washes, it is one of the most common and one of the most usable techniques in scale modeling. However, it takes some time to practice it, and it is not as easy actually as it seems to be from the first look. It is funnel the spray and pray technique. So applying this coat of future will give the surface of the model kind of a protective layer, so that even if you screw up, you would be able easily to wipe all the excessing future off. And the second, which comes from the first point, is that it will help you to wipe off all the excessive future on the edges of your panel lights and stuff without getting the dirty edges with small amounts of future dipped and soaked into the roughness of the paint underneath. The glossy coat is extremely flat, so it's really easy to get rid of any liquids applied to it. When I've been just starting using washes as a technique, I was told a wonderful saying that washes are actually like pizza. You don't want to have too little amount of them, because in that case you won't feel the taste, and on the other hand you don't want to get too much, because that actually won't be the pizza anymore, just tons of stuff on a layer of bread. So today, guys, we are going to try to cook a nice pizza. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Hang on! Alright, so here what basically the washing is all about. This part of the model has already received a fair amount of wash, and you can notice the additional depth received by all the recessed parts here inside of those kind of wheels on these gears I've added to this part. So that's it. Here is what we're intended to do. Actually, I think that many of you already know what the wash is really well. However, this is intended to be a full painting tutorial, so I'm just not gonna throw out any parts of the build. Plus, to those of you who haven't tried any washing yet, this might be pretty interesting, because this technique, it is actually, I think, one of the most important techniques in painting the model, due to the fact that without all the other techniques I've showed, and I'm going to show, without all the chipping, all the oil painting, everything else, with only the one coat of wash applied, you will already greatly enhance your model. Because, well, with just the wash applied, the model immediately becomes to look much more realistic, ganz realistic. It's with only the wash already, it becomes not only a piece of plastic, how it looks like, well, maybe after only the coat of paint, but something more, well, it starts to look greatly, extremely much cooler. Alright, so for the washes I'm using these MIG products, like this one, and this one, and I'm actually going to use all of them, because each one of them is for the specific purpose. This is the neutral wash. I'm using it most due to the fact that, as I'm mostly sci-fi modelers, and a fair amount of my builds, the most amount of them, are colored in the shades of whitish gray, all the starships from Trek and Star Wars and stuff. So this is the neutral wash for light colored vehicles, painted in white color, light gray, light sand, red, and something like that. Really useful. It has it is quite dark actually, but instead of black it has a brownish sandy shade, so to say. So it looks pretty nice on the light models. I've actually, for the first time I've bought it when there was no standard dark wash in my shop, but I really liked it that way. Well, here is the dark wash. I'm going to use it for this specific vehicle mostly, due to the fact that this tank is a bit too dark for the neutral wash. So this is what I'm going to use. It will now give a nice dark, very good visible shade. And this one is a light rust effect, but for this build I'm going to give the wash a rather unusual use, due to the fact that I'm building a Geonosian diorama, as you might know. So I'm going to use this wash as a kind of a filter, like the filters I've showed you in the previous video, to add a rusty shade to the vehicle and to all the surrounding mountains, because well, Geonosis is actually like Mars. It's a kind of rusty orange shade. So while painting, I've achieved mostly a orange shade, not so much rust, not enough red color, as it seems to me. Plus to that, the base is now covered with Pledge Future for all the further washing, and I'm also going to add some dry brushing to all those mountains of the terrain I've constructed. So to avoid its glossy look when I'm going to finish it, I will have to apply a coat of matte finish, and in that case, as I've told you, matte liquors make the colors of the base you are applying them to more whitish, and so to achieve the red, orange, something like that effect I'm intended to achieve, I will have to make the base look more dark at the stage when it is yet glossy before applying a matte finish. Alright, now without further speaking, let's proceed with the wash. And well, here is how it's done. It's actually not very too difficult, but it will require some experience when you are just starting to use this technique. But the basic idea is not to rush, make everything carefully, like all the rest aspects of the build, and well, everything will be okay. So I've shaked the bottle fairly due to the fact that as washes are really well thinned, like filters, well, a bit less like than filters, about 65% or well 60% of thinner in them. Their, so to say, active component concentrates on the bottom of the bottles. If you are buying the pre-made washes, they concentrate on the bottle of the bottles pretty fast, so don't forget to shake them, or you will end up with a very light wash. Well, if not shaking the bottles, what you get inside of them is the filter. You can use it as the filter, and I've used it several times and it works just fine. By the way, about the pre-made washes, I think that it's quite obvious, but you can always make one for yourself. I'm using the meat products, the pre-made washes, commercially available, due to the fact that on my taste they're using some pretty nice thinner in them, and I like how smoothly it goes on the surface. However, it is possible to make a wash from virtually anything, from the acrylic paints, just like the filters I've made, from the simple acrylic paints like the ones which are made for children painting, those small dry bricks when you dip your brush into the water, then a bit smash it on this brick of paint and can start painting. I've used that for a long time. From chalks, many people do make the washes from them. From enamel paint with the enamel filter, well, anything depends on you. One thing that you must always remember is that a wash must be really well thinned. Well, like I said, about 65 or 60% of thinner from the total amount of the solution you are preparing. So in that case, it is quite obvious that, for example, you can't thin an enamel paint with water. You have to use enamel thinner. But if you are using one, then you can't apply such wash over the enamel-based coat underneath it, due to the fact that it will simply eat all your work of previous painting the model. Here, for example, these MIG washes are they can be used only with the acrylic paints, because they're kind of enamel based, royal based. Well, anyway, I know for sure that they're eating the coat of Ravel enamels and Tamiya enamel paint pretty fast, so don't forget about that. Okay, what I'm doing here is applying the wash. I'm just dipping a bit of it with my airbrush from the bottle, and then as I'm washing the panel lines, I am just using the capillary effect. I'm slightly touching the panel line, and the wash is starting to soak into it along the full length of the line. The fact that I've applied a fair layer of gloss liquor, the Pledge Future, before that is of a real help, due to the fact that it really enhances the capillarity effect for the wash. Well, in the places where the panel line is not really deep, I just move the brush, slowly move the brush along of it, waiting for the wash to soak in. Don't be afraid of the small overbrushes on the edges of the panel lines. We'll get rid of them soon, and well, it takes about 20 minutes for this wash to dry to the point where it will be rather difficult already to get rid of that. So you just apply the wash, forget about the problems on the edges of the panel lines, and move along to another part, because you have plenty of time to return to it. And if you start to get rid of that wash on the edges too soon, you will just will take all the required wash you applied into the panel line with the one you again read from. So it's really better to not to hurry and to wait. And besides, it makes sense to apply the wash to the areas, to the deep areas where it seems to accumulate some dirt. And well, apply the wash to all the places you want to make accent to. If you have tons of tiny details on your model, wash it fairly and you will make everyone see all your hard work with those details. Okay, so this is how the careful washing is going. Now I want to show you something else. If you have for example, you have a big area which seems to be pretty dirty, like this track I have here, and well, in this case you might want to darken it a bit with the wash, like something you did with the filter. So in that case you can just apply the wash without any hesitation to the whole detail. Once it dries a bit, you will see that it goes away from the flat areas into all the corners. Okay, we'll let it dry, and while it's drying I am going to continue applying the wash, and soon we are going to continue working on the areas I've started with. Alright, while I've been finishing on this part, the areas I've started with have already dried enough to correct them. So what I am doing, I'm taking a small piece of a paper towel. Also the Q sticks might be very useful for the areas which are difficult to get to, but I do like the paper towel more. Now I'm just wrapping up several times. Now, well, while it's really dry, it will smash the wash over the surface, so I need a very little amount of paint, of water on it, so that it starts to adhese the wash. But if I make too much water, it will just run from the edge of this water paper towel piece all over the surface of the model. It will thin the already dried wash, and in the end I'll get a resulting mess instead of a nice looking model. So to get a small amount of water, I have a small tip. I just apply a bit of it to my skin so that it is a bit wet, and then soak it with the edge of a towel. Thus I can control the amount of water I am giving to this towel. If I just place it into the water, it will immediately become too wet. And I'm starting to get rid of the wash. One more thing, another very useful device you might use for getting rid of the excess wash with extreme control over the surface, well, when everything is in your hands, is this one. Yeah, your finger. You just take and start taking the wash off. Don't forget to keep your fingers clean, because, well, just like from the towel, the wash doesn't go anywhere from the end of your finger. What we need to get rid of are some nasty visible leaks. However, don't be afraid of some streaking here and there if it's barely visible. Well, you will see it as you know where to look, but on the finished model they're going to look pretty nice, and besides they will be almost absolutely invisible under the coat of flat liquor. Okay, here on the edges of this metallic ring, I want the wash to stay like a long shadow, the high value of a color gradient, so to say. So for that I'm gonna use a piece of paper of a bit another shape. I'm gonna tear some piece, but I won't put it in halves. Just a flat piece of paper. I'm gonna just lightly run the excess wash to the rising edge of this metallic part. You don't really need to dip this shaped paper into the water. Just use small, fast, intense moves. Okay, let us lay it down for now and return to this track I've been talking about. You might notice how the wash ran away from the major part of the flat area to the corners. So now, just very lightly, we're going to clean this part a bit. Okay. Yeah, here we go. just what's needed. So, alright guys, I'm going to continue on applying the washes. I really encourage you, if you're yet not registered at the Scale Monolithic, to go there. I will post the high-resolution pictures of the result I achieved by applying the wash on this model, and I'll provide you a link that you will see under in the description under this video, the link to this my build. And I really encourage you to register at Scale Monolithic if you haven't done that so, and to join our great community there. What I'm going to do next after applying the washes is I'm going to cover all the parts with another layer of Pledge Future to proceed with some oil painting. I also want to show you this technique, and well, after that it would be actually time for some flat finishing, final assembly of my model's sub-assemblies, and well, then the tank will be done actually. So I think that if there will still be interest in these tutorial videos, I'm going to make about the two more videos on painting this tank, finishing it. Well, guess that's it. So I think that we'll see with you again virtually. We'll see soon. Stay tuned, and well, that's it. Bye guys.